Fantastic. Well, and let's pull on that thread as well of lifelong learning and learner agency. So, are you seeing growing awareness of digital badges and digital alternative credentials among the consumers of the learners, or is there also still an education process for them as they're receiving them?
Absolutely. I think there is still an education process for learners. I mean, what we typically find is we will get contacted by particular colleges that have students that have completed at one particular area that have received credentials, and the students are used to receiving credentials and therefore want to be able to receive them. So there's that piece. But then there's also the acknowledgement piece around, you and I, we've all attended workshops. We've received the certificate of participation, which is 8 hours professional development. I don't know about you, but I pop it in the back of my car, drive home, completely forget about it. My wife ends up throwing it out a couple of weeks later when I'm doing something else, and we completely forget that we've got that. So being able to interact with a student, with an institution, with an awarding authority, and being able to say all of those credentials, all of that data is actually retained within the one place, and the end user has agency over that to be able to share with who they want, when they want, how they want, is very powerful. So what we're starting to see is people that interact within that ecosystem, regardless of who that stakeholder is, immediately sees the power in making that knowledge piece portable. And then we sort of see that cascades and grows further and further.
Perfect. And underpinning that learner agency and portability are standards. So that's obviously a key aspect to enable this in the first place, and to enable it to grow. So I know there are a number of new versions of standards coming out for open badging, CLR, verifiable credentials. Where do you see the space heading, and what sort of innovation will those updated standards bring?
Pleasingly, so first of all, standards are critically important. Let me make that really clear. When we're starting to look at a construct around the manifestation of lifelong learning and portability of knowledge from 5 years old to 75 years old, that only works with standards and interoperability. No one is going to own that entire journey, but having repositories or wallets or passports or whatever term you want to call that repository, making sure that everything within there abides by standards means that it can go into and out of that repository. So the end user that has agency over that can determine who that's with. One of the things that I like about the emergence of, you touched on open badges, CLR, and verifiable credentials being W3C. One of the things that we like, and we've been involved, much like your good self has been, across that process of the standards, is that they're all actually starting to coalesce. So we're now starting to see all of the standards becoming interoperable as standards in their own right, which is really important. We've got clients in Singapore, Malaysia, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and the United Kingdom. And so being able to follow, an international student, for instance, if we're going to talk about vocational, maybe they've done some pre-training in their country of origin, and maybe that forms part of their admission into an Australian qualification, or maybe a unit of competency. Being able to take that credential from the country of origin where they received that, and having that as a machine readable artifact that is interoperable with those standards can mean that the college, the RTO, the institution can actually have a level of comfort knowing that it's verified by the issuer and that it relates to the standards in which their system operates in as well.